This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So Russ, there are certain milestones in our lives that just mean the world to us. Like getting a driver's license or going off to college. And in the case I'm telling you today, we have a young Native American girl who went off to college and was so excited about it. But her life was cut short. There are many things in this case that just don't make sense. This is the murder of Faith Hedgepeth. Hey everyone, welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband Russ true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's Russ.
And this is Jess, and we're back for another week. So, it has been an insane week in true crime. Actually, like past 2 weeks, it's been insane. Yeah. It's been crazy.
Was live on Instagram showing the press conference for the girl Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby Petito. We just got finished showing the live press conference of that.
That case intrigued me the most. I don't know where you're going, but I guess we'll talk about that since I just brought it up. So, it's sad they think they found her.
Yeah.
They said it fits the physical description of her, so I guess they haven't tested DNA. I don't know exactly how long she's been missing to know if the body would, be decomposed.
She hasn't been heard from, I think, since August 27th or 29th. Her mom got a text on August 30th, but her mom says she doesn't think that it was her because she said that the text message didn't seem like the type of messages that she sent. Like, you know how people, when they text you, you know how certain people send texts. So she hasn't been heard from in about 3 weeks. But, you know, now they did find her, and I feel so bad for her family. I really do. I feel so bad.
I watched the thing with the video of the, what is it called, the cop cam.
Oh, the body cam.
The body cam. I watched that, and that was she was pretty distraught, and she looked like she was having a mental breakdown where she was not doing well, and could have been on the verge of possibly of like the way she was, probably being admitted into a hospital or something. Like she just wasn't doing good at all.
Yeah, she was very anxious and upset in that video footage, but
I don't know anything. I'm not a medical professional.
Yeah, the whole thing has just been crazy. This last few weeks, I feel like has been the most intense few weeks the true crime community has seen in ever, I feel like. Between the Murdochs, that's how they pronounce it.
Which we did an episode on last week, but there has been new details since last week that Jess is about to tell you about.
Oh, okay, well, I posted them all on the socials, but for people who don't have social media or follow us on social media, Murdoch case got crazy because it turns out that Alex Murdoch's drug dealer was arrested for shooting him in the head. So Russ was maybe right.
I'm always right.
No, but you said that he couldn't shoot himself in the head and just nick his head.
No one can shoot themselves in the head.
So this guy, he hired a hitman to shoot him in the head, and then he missed. And the dude's still alive.
Yeah, only if someone's trying to shoot you, they could miss. If you're going to shoot yourself, it's over.
I get it. But anyway, so now Alec Murdaugh got arrested for like insurance fraud because he was trying to have an assisted suicide so he could leave his son $10 million from his life insurance policy.
Yeah, but so what they're saying now, I'm asking you, there's a question.
Okay.
Are they saying that he hired this person to kill him?
Yes.
So I would like to go on the record.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst hitman of all time. The dude's letting you kill him. He paid you to kill him, and you couldn't kill him.
Well, now I posted on Instagram, like yesterday on our Instagram story, that the dude who he hired to kill him has come out and said that he had nothing to do with it, and he's actually the fall guy, and that he didn't get hired to kill Alec Murdaugh, and he doesn't even know why he's been brought into this.
Oh.
So
the plot thickens.
Yeah, this whole thing is still getting crazy.
Well, it sounds like no one wants to go to jail.
Yeah, of course. No one wants to go to jail.
And everyone's going to start snitching, and whoever snitches first is going to get the best deal. So
true.
I'm not advising you to snitch, but if you tell first, you probably go to jail the least.
It's true. You get to take a plea if you snitch on someone. So that whole thing is still developing. And then the Gabby Petito case, like I just said, or like we just spoke about, we watched the press conference, so they found her body. So that's still developing. No one knows where this dude Brian is, but we need to get this dude.
Oh, they need to find the piece of shit. Find Brian. Where is he? He's crazy.
I mean,
like videos of him, like he's not a normal dude.
No,
he's bugged out.
He's off. Yeah. So he's still
lost
missing.
A couple marbles.
But this is going to be airing in we're recording this now, but it'll be airing in like a week and a half. So this is kind of like, we're like the ghost of true crime past.
That's true. So if
we're talking to our future selves.
Well, that's dope. Now I'm in the Matrix.
Yeah, we're like the ghost of true crime past.
So I need to tell my future self something when he listens. Hey, Russ, the week hasn't been that bad. It'll be all right.
Aw, that's a good message for your future self.
And tell my future self, maybe I should be nicer to my coworkers. So this week, I start really early, and I work outside. And it was dark outside, and this guy comes walking up to me to talk, all bright and chipper. And when older people, they just like to, they're morning people. They're like birds. They just chirp in the morning. And he comes up like, hey, what's up, Russ? And I say, get away from me. Don't talk to me until the sun comes up.
You said that?
You can't talk to me while it's dark. Dude, bro. It's dark out. It's 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
I'll talk to you when the sun comes up.
I totally get it, because in my world, you're my chirpy morning person, and you like to talk a lot at 8 a.m. when I'm first waking up, and in my head, I don't say it out loud, but in my head, I'm like, get away from me. Please stop talking.
That hurt my feelings.
So anyway, we will probably have a lot of things develop. By the time this airs in a week and a half, a lot more stuff will come out. But as of right now, while we're recording this, Brian is still nowhere to be found. Another crazy thing that happened over the last 2 weeks in the true crime community is that they found a body in New Hampshire, and they're testing it to see if it's Maura Murray, which she's been missing for years. You don't know that case. You just looked at me confused.
Yes, I have no clue
You have no idea who that is, so that means I'm going to have to tell Russ the Maura Murray case. Stay tuned, because that'll be an upcoming episode, because this is developing. But that's huge. Huge.
Was that a big case?
Huge case.
Listen, all week, Jess is like in the kitchen doing something, moving stuff around. She's always shuffling around the house. She can't stay still. And then she starts talking to me about these cases. And I'm like, Jess, we're not doing a podcast right now. Leave me alone. I want to watch TV.
I know. I talk to him about true crime all the time.
Yeah, and I've been very busy. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh, stop. So
I save all my true crime talks for the podcast with you guys, but I did keep an eye on this Gabby case a little bit.
Yeah, you were a little more into this one than other ones, I have to say.
Yeah, this one, because I was like, where are they? And he wasn't helping. He wasn't giving any information. But then I did understand him lawyering up, because even if you didn't do it, you have to lawyer up because they're probably going to try to pin it on you anyway. Now, it seems I know you're going to say he came back without the van. All this is obvious. But even if you didn't.
No, he came back with the van.
Yeah, with the van without her. That's what I meant. Mm-hmm. My brain skips sometimes. It's like an old CD that has a scratch. I don't know why. It's not that funny.
I did think that was funny.
All right. So now I lost track. The whole CD restarted. Forget it. Someone unplugged it.
No, I completely agree with you. We always say to lawyer up 100% because you don't know what they're going to use against you. What you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. And that's true. You should lawyer up. However, I feel like when it comes to this, like if I went missing, you would not just lawyer up and not look for me.
No,
unless you killed me. That's it. So like he had to have something to do with this, because if he actually had no idea where she was and he was legitimately worried about her, he would get a lawyer, definitely, but still be in the search effort.
I agree, but I'm just saying I understand the non-lawyering. I mean, I understand the lawyering up part. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
Everything is pointing towards him because he came back with her van.
Yeah, I get that. So before we move on with our case, because this case, it's going to stem from another event this week. So before we move on with that.
Oh, no, we're doing another unsolved mystery?
No, we're not.
Okay, good. I needed closure this week.
Well, it's kind of closure, but we'll see. So you have to do two things. Your jobs for the podcast, Russ, besides being super funny and hilarious and having a super attractive Bronx accent.
Oh, yeah, I'm someone's true crime crush. Shout out to you. Your boy made it. The Bronx heartthrob is in the building.
Well, aside from being the Bronx heartthrob, hashtag Bronx heartthrob, and having such an attractive Bronx accent, you also have two important jobs, which are reading the patron shout outs and the
review of the week.
So go ahead. Time to shine.
All right, so I'm going to do the review of the week. It says, great podcast, 5 stars. It's by Richard Oxendine. I probably butchered that, but it might not even be his real last name. It says, I'll keep this short because I know Russ doesn't like reading. I'm one of the few male listeners, but I feel there are more than you think, in parentheses. And I think your podcast is awesome. But when I first listened, I thought Russ was bald. I don't know why. Just sounded like a bald dude. That's all. Listen, Richard.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with bald dudes.
There is not. But your boy has a full set of hair.
Full set of hair.
Wait, hair is a set. I don't know.
Your boy has a nice head of hair.
Very clever. You made it to the review of the week with that. That was funny, Rich. I'll give you AKA Dick.
Do you think his nickname is Dick?
I don't know why people's nicknames are Dick if their name is Richard. It's not even close. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give him a little jab back, so I called him Dick. But that was really funny. When I first read it, I was dying laughing.
No, it is really funny. And Russ really is known for having a nice thick head of hair. So your boy's hair is going strong. Hashtag good hairline.
Yeah, so far so good. All right. So this week I have the patrons. Good amount this week. Welcome everybody. And thanks for joining. It's pretty dope. So we have Melissa, Rosa, Lindsay, Jennifer, Debbie, Marissa, Tanya, Carol, Jade, Catherine, Deborah, and Teresa. So cheers to you guys.
Ooh, nice. All right. Well, thank you everybody who joined the crime family. Go check out our Patreon. It's www.
Who says www, Grandma?
I laughed because I knew you were going to make
No,
fun.
You laughed because you were like, oh my God. I just said www. And then last week he told them, I asked him how many, what's the resolution we see in? Is it 720p? They're finding out how you're a grandma.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining the crime family, everyone.
You
can go to patreon.com/wifeofcrimepod to join the Patron. We have bonus content at every level, but our true crime and chill episodes start at the $5 tier.
And there's commercial-free stuff because we do have ads now.
Yeah, we do have ads now.
Thanks to you guys making our numbers go up a lot. Very appreciative of everyone here, whether you join the Patreon or not.
Absolutely.
You guys have been sharing, reviewing. Reviews of the week have been tough because there were probably like 10 good ones this week, and there was a good amount of funny ones too. So You guys have been kicking ass. Okay,
so another case that made headlines in the last week was the murder of Faith Hedgepeth. So in 2012, a college student was murdered in her campus housing. It was like an off-campus housing, right? It was an apartment that's right off campus, but all the college kids live there. This case is nuts. It has so many weird details, but it remained cold for 9 years until this last week. They made an arrest and charged a man named Miguel Enrique Salguero Olivares. It's a mouthful.
He has like 7 names.
With first-degree murder. So they charged someone in this case. So this case rocked the UNC campus and the surrounding area because people were super scared to send their kids to this college knowing that a murderer was still on the loose.
Or they were using it as an excuse to not probably pay freaking $100,000 a semester. And they sent their kids to community college where it's $2,500 because that's what I would do. I'm like, they're killing everybody out there. You got to stay close to home so I could save you. And you go to Bronx Community College.
Oh, my God.
That's what I would have did.
Well, they were scared to send their kids to school. A lot of, people on the campus were scared because there was a murderer on the loose and there were no leads at all. So this case is pretty well known. A lot of big podcasts have covered it. But to be honest, I had never heard of it before until one of our listeners sent me a link about the case once I saw the news of this guy being arrested last week. And then I fell down a rabbit hole. When I researched it, I realized why this case became so sensationalized. This is the brutal murder of Faith Hedgepeth. Are you ready?
Yeah, I always feel like since you have a catchphrase of "Are you ready?" I should have something cool to say, but I never have anything.
No, you just say, "Yep."
Yep.
So Faith Hedgepeth was in her last year of college at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She was a beautiful young Native American woman from North Carolina. Faith was actually part of the, I hope I don't butcher this, the Haliwa Saponi tribe, which is actually, no, that's right, I said it right. It's actually a tribe that is native to that area of North Carolina, which is pretty cool. So the people in that tribe, they've been there since before we were even a country because they're Native Americans.
Yeah, I read a lot of books on Native Americans. Well, I don't read. I do the audio books. They were really good. I forgot the names. If you want to know them, hit me up. I'll send them to you. They're on my phone somewhere under, what is that, audio something from Amazon?
Oh, the Audible.
Yeah, like about how some of these tribes are savage and some of them were peaceful, but it shows like which ones were what, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And, Faith was part of this tribe, and she was very proud to be a Native American. She was also a very popular girl, not in like a Mean Girls type of way popular, but popular in a like genuinely everyone really liked her. She had tons of friends type of way.
Like me.
Yeah, like you. Ish. I'm
not that
I'm
popular.
sure she was a lot more popular than you because she was known to be an incredibly nice, sweet girl. She had so many friends, and she even received a scholarship to Chapel Hill and was attending her undergraduate and planning to go to medical school to become a pediatrician. Faith had a really solid group of friends, and one of her friends in the group was named Karina, okay? I want you to keep track of that name. So Karina was having problems with her boyfriend, Eric. He was pretty abusive. And in July of 2012, Faith and Karina ended up getting an apartment together after Karina and her boyfriend, Eric, finally broke up. But Eric was really upset about this and ended up breaking into the girls' apartment numerous times and threatening both of them. He even punched through a couple of their doors in their apartment and punched a hole in the wall. He was very violent. He also blamed...
What was his name?
Eric.
Eric, okay.
He also blamed Faith for this breakup. He kind of felt like she was encouraging Karina to leave him. And because he blamed her, he called her a few times and left her nasty messages, and then one time even threatened to kill her. Okay? Kill Faith, not Karina.
Okay.
So after a while of all this, violence and him breaking in, all this craziness, Faith and Karina went to the police station and they got an order of protection against Eric.
That's good. Order of protections are weird because, it's supposed to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of protects you from harassment, but not from violence. Because if someone's going to be violent and crazy, they're not going to care about the piece of paper telling you to not go there.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's going to keep people from harassing you because if you come within a certain amount of feet or talk to them, you get arrested.
Yeah.
So I think it only protects you from verbal abuse, really.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it only goes so far, to be honest. People are
Someone
had
order of protection against me once, and I didn't care. I'll still beat him up.
I know, but that makes you sound like such a...
Oh, no, he was a bad person.
Yeah, you have to explain the situation.
Oh,
he
no.
was a bad person. It's not like it was a good person had an order of protection against
Oh,
you.
no. He was like a crackhead and he did bad things to my family. And
yeah.
So he had to get that smoke.
So now, like I said, they had this order of protection against Eric. And he, in the past, had called Faith's phone, left her nasty messages, and threatened to kill her. On September 6, 2012, around 8 p.m., Faith and her friend Karina went to the library to study. So Faith had this huge project coming up where she was going to tell her class all about her tribe. And she was super excited about it. So they were at the library for a few hours studying, and she was preparing for this presentation that she had to do.
I wonder if she grew up on a reservation.
No, she didn't grow up on a reservation, but she was very involved with her tribe.
That's cool. You should always remember your heritage.
Yeah. And it was something that meant a lot to her. So the girls arrived back to their apartment at 11 p.m. and they got ready to go out. They were heading to their favorite club, and it was a really popular club in the area called Thrill. And the thing that made it so popular is that it was 18 and up. So I don't know if do you guys have that here in New York? Do you have 18 and up clubs?
Yeah. Well, there's not necessarily clubs like that, but I think places have 18 and up nights. But if I was a club owner, I wouldn't have that because those suckers can't buy no drinks.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I would go to this 18 and up club with my friends, and you have to get these giant black X's on your wrists. On the tops of your hands, these huge black X's to show that you can't drink. And then it was in permanent marker, and they would be on your hands for days.
You'd have 50 people in the bathroom trying to scrub it off.
Definitely. And people would sneak drinks in all the time. So they still found a way to drink. But in that area, it was really popular with the college kids because, they're going to all go to this club where the 18 and up club where the 18-year-olds can get in. And they probably found a way to drink anyway. So around 2 a.m., security footage shows Karina and Faith leaving the club. And on the camera, you see Karina walk out of the club first. And then Faith follows behind her. And this is the last time that Faith is seen alive by anyone other than Karina.
Wait, who was following behind her? Karina.
Faith. No.
Wait.
Karina walked out of the club first.
Yeah.
And then Faith was following behind her.
Okay.
And this is the last time anyone had seen Faith alive aside from Karina. Okay? So they get into a car and they head home. The neighbor in the apartment below the girls happened to be awake late that night and says that around 3 a.m., she heard some loud thumping noises. And then around 3:45, phone records show that Faith texted a dude named Brandon. So Brandon and Faith weren't together. They were just friends. But Brandon had dated Karina in the past. And she sent him this message. It said, quote, come by here. Rosario needs you more than you know. Rosario was Karina's last name.
Oh.
And Karina went by the nickname Rosie or they just called her by her last name a lot of times.
Oh, you got a crazy friend named Rosie.
She's listening right now, and she's going to probably punch you in the face for saying that.
Yeah, she's still crazy.
No, she's not crazy. Leave her alone.
Go. I just said that to trigger her.
She's my best friend. Leave her alone. I'm going to punch you.
Jess is crazy. Someone call the cops and let's get an order of protection against her.
So that's the last known communication with anyone from Faith, was that text message that she sent to Brandon. And then there's no more activity on Faith's phone. Around 4:25 a.m., Karina leaves the apartment with a guy, okay? So Faith is in the apartment alone at this point. She leaves the apartment with a guy named Jordan, and she would later tell police that
Karina had mad dudes.
Yeah, she did. She would later tell police that she left the door unlocked. Which, like, okay, I've forgotten to lock the door before a few times, and I get that that's not safe, but especially when you've had a guy break into your house numerous times, been violent, and you have an order of protection against someone. I think it would be pretty diligent to make sure the doors are locked when you leave.
Yeah, I feel like it's very important to make sure doors are locked when you leave every single time, Jess, because someone could be alone in the house, like sleeping or playing video games with their headset on and not hear things, and wake up dead.
Okay.
So you need to lock the doors.
I know. Around 10:30 a.m. the next morning, Karina calls Faith a few times to see if she can come pick her up from this dude Jordan's house, but Faith never answered. So then Karina calls another friend of theirs, a mutual friend named Marisol. She tells her that she had called Faith and texted Faith a few times, but she got no answer, and it wasn't like her, and she was kind of getting worried. She wanted Marisol to try to reach out to Faith too, because she thought maybe if Marisol calls her, she'll answer her calls. Like maybe she's mad at me or whatever. You know how people...
Yeah, girls are weird. Girls get mad at each other all the time. Mm-hmm. Dude just like, you're an asshole. And they're like, so are you. And then they laugh about it. And they're like, let's just have a beer. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's definitely how guys are compared to girls. Girls can get really weird about things.
Yeah, girls are like, you knew I was going to wear a gray shirt today and you wore one too. We're no longer BFFs.
We're not that petty.
You're out of my top 8 on MySpace.
Marisol says, look, I'll just come pick you up. We'll go to the apartment together. We'll check on Faith. And then all 3 of us will just ride to school together because they had to get to school that morning. So 11 a.m. comes. The girls arrive back to the apartment and they see Faith's car in the parking lot. So they just assume she was probably upstairs sleeping or just woke up and is getting ready and didn't get a chance to answer their phone calls. The girls walk into the apartment and begin calling out her name, but got no response. They then entered Faith's bedroom, and the scene was absolutely horrific.
Oh, no.
Faith was lying face up, half hanging off the bed, and blood was everywhere. She only had a t-shirt on, and it was pulled all the way up to her neck. Laying next to her body was an empty rum bottle, which was quickly determined to be the murder weapon. Faith had been beat in the head with the bottle numerous times. Chapel Hill police kept this investigation very tight-lipped. They didn't release any info on the murder for 2.5 years.
Wow. Do they know if that bottle of rum was from that house, or did the person bring it with them?
They didn't release that information.
But it's past 2.5 years now. Do they know now?
I didn't see anything about that. They've been very, very tight about the things they'll put out about this case, which is really interesting because there's a lot of details that I'm going to go into later that came out way after this crime happened. And it kind of makes me think that they aren't releasing the information because there may have been some misconduct, like maybe the crime scene was tainted in some way or some misconduct happened. Because I was having a conversation the other day with someone with regards to another case that I'm looking into, and I didn't know this, but NYPD in particular, they're kind of notorious for this. They will leave cases open for years sometimes because some type of misconduct happened. And if a case is open, then you can't get FOIA records on them. And FOIA records are the Freedom of Information Act. You can't petition the NYPD for any, police discovery if a case is open. And I feel like that might have been what was going on here. And a lot of other people feel that way too, not just me.
I wonder if they have that law in North Carolina.
I don't know, but they think that the police were just they sealed a lot of records. They kept things really tight-lipped with this.
I think that what's important is if you have something that happens to a family member, now from this Gabby case, me and Jess were talking about this earlier, where I think you need to get the media involved. Because once media outlets are involved, the pressure is on to solve this case.
Yeah.
And they can't hide stuff. There's people outside the buildings. And, so a lot of people might want to be, private, because I'm a pretty private person. But it looks like sometimes having the media on your side, wanting to know what happened, will really put the pressure on and help make the case get solved faster.
No, I agree. And, Military Murder, Margot on Military Murder, she posted a really interesting post the other day. And it said, if I go missing, what do I want my family to do? What are 5 things I want my family to do? And it made me think, that's a really good thing to discuss with your family. So, if I go missing, what are the things I think are super important that you need to do right away? And it's something to think about. I haven't really made the list of what I'd want you to do, but hopefully by now, I trust your instincts, and I trust that you would hopefully do the right thing and not just go kill someone.
Well, I would turn the world upside down.
I know, but I hope you wouldn't just go kill somebody.
Because when I was thinking about, I was telling Jess yesterday this too, because we talk outside of the podcast too. And back on the Gabby case, because she was bothering me all week with true crime. And I was like, if I was the dad of that girl, I saw him on TV and he's doing everything he can that he's able to do, but he's super calm, but the dude, Brian the dickhead, was home. I would have kidnapped Brian.
Yeah.
And I would have tortured him. I would have pulled his teeth out one by one with the pliers until he gave me some type of information. And whoever would have got in the way would have been right in the back of my van with Brian until I figured it all out. I would have went nuts.
Yeah.
Because I would have been thinking, maybe she is somewhere alive and I need to know.
Yeah.
Just to try to do what you can. And I would have been perfectly fine going to jail, knowing that I did everything I could in my power and risked my own life to try to save my daughter.
Well, I do think that what this family did was good.
Oh, they did the right thing. They put the pressure on.
I think they did the right thing by going to the media right away.
I know there's some other dads out there, the other 20% of dudes that listen to this, some of them probably hell yeah, I would have went over there and took him.
Yeah, probably.
And there's probably some of our Texas listeners with them women with the pistols in their purses. Like your damn Skippy, I would have shot his ass.
You guys already know because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's VIIAHEMP.com, wifeofcrime1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, Save More Money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing. until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you know you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime. So now back to Faith's story. So they didn't release any information for 2.5 years. But something that's crazy is that they found semen at the scene. And there were DNA that matched the semen around the apartment. Okay, so they had multiple...
Well, wait a minute. Karina had mad dudes.
She was sexually assaulted.
I thought you meant just randomly around the house.
No, the DNA was around the house, but the DNA matched the semen because she was sexually assaulted.
Oh, so that's it. Just do that. Try to find the person.
They did. They tried. So the number one person of interest was Eric, Karina's, ex-boyfriend. He was the most obvious suspect. He had been violent. He had an order of protection against him. He even called and threatened to kill Faith a couple weeks before. And then 3 days before the murder, Eric texted a friend of his and said, quote, "Forgive me for what I'm about to do." And he also posted on Twitter this quote, "Lord, forgive me for all my sins and the sins I commit today. Protect me from the girls who don't deserve me and the ones who want me dead."
Yo, he's a corn.
Yeah, he sounds like a corn. So Eric was brought into the precinct and asked to give a DNA sample. Everyone was positive it was this guy. They were like, yep, that's him. But the DNA didn't match.
Wow.
And it wasn't him. It confused everyone. They thought this was, this case was open and shut. Boom, done. It's this dude clearly. It's the only one around them that it could have been.
Well, thank God for DNA, because if there was no DNA, he obviously would have been in jail for this murder.
Absolutely, yeah. So this confused everyone. They decided to get DNA samples from a few people. They collected Brandon's DNA, the mutual friend that she had texted last. They collected DNA from a couple of guys that they saw at the Club Thrill earlier in the night. Not that they were doing anything with them. They were just hanging out with them. They might have been friends from school. This is a campus. So a lot of people are in school together. They're in classes together. They all have different friend groups and mutual friends. But they decided to collect DNA from a few guys that they had interacted with in the recent weeks around the murder.
I feel like you should always lawyer up, and not give any information if a cop contacts you. But I also feel like DNA seems like it's so accurate at this point that you're just sure, take this DNA so you don't bother me anymore about this.
So semen DNA is very accurate, but touch DNA can get a little hairy.
Okay.
So there's a difference. There's touch DNA and DNA from an actual bodily fluid like blood or semen. Yes, those are very accurate, but touch DNA is a little iffy. So interestingly, a woman named Eve Carson, who was a student body president, was brutally murdered a few years before. And a $25,000 reward is what led cops to her perpetrator. So now they decided, okay, let's raise a pretty big reward. And that way we can offer people money to give us information. So they ended up raising $30,000 between the school board, the governor's office, and Faith's tribe. They raised $30,000. And offered it to any tips leading to an arrest. Lots of tips came in at that point, but they all led nowhere. The cops kept the investigation sealed, so it was impossible for anyone to gain information on the investigation's progress. Like, the media had no answers. The family didn't even get information on the investigation's progress, which is crazy to me.
That's torture.
Exactly. So then in January 2013, the FBI got involved and they began building a profile. So these are the professional profilers, Russ.
What are you trying to say?
Because you're an unprofessional professional profiler, but these are the professional profilers.
Well, I'm not FBI trained, but I did go to the School of Hard Knocks, so they need to put some respect on my name. FBI, if you need me to train these guys, I got you. So, first training is on the arm, as usual.
So this is how they profiled the perpetrator. But first, I want to hear how you would profile this perpetrator based on the information I told you. So let's recap. She's a college student. She's a popular girl. She's pretty, really pretty girl. And what do you think a profile of someone who would kill her would be?
Well, I think it's someone that went to the school with them. Mm-hmm. Or it could have been someone like, that's seen them at the bar. But I definitely think they know Karina, and they probably were over there looking for Karina. Because it sounded like she had a revolving door of dudes.
Okay, so you think that this wasn't an attack that was supposed to be taken out on Faith?
No, it doesn't seem like it. Well, she was popular, so she had a lot of people, too.
She had a lot of friends, yeah.
Yeah, people that she knew. I don't know. I think someone was there looking for Karina. But I could be wrong. Maybe she didn't have a lot of dudes, but you mentioned 3 dudes in the beginnings, and that was in the first 1 minute.
Well, I put you on the spot. Sorry. But the FBI...
Yeah, I go by gut. You know what I mean? I'm like a medium. All of a sudden, something hits me. It's not on demand.
Okay.
So don't be doing that again.
Okay. So the FBI profile said this. They believed this man was a guy that lived nearby and may have come on to Faith and was rejected. Okay, so they believe that he was, possibly rejected by her when he tried to flirt with her, ask her out.
Yeah, don't think it was a stranger. I definitely don't think that, because someone went to that house and the door was unlocked.
Yeah. They also think that this man was Hispanic or of Hispanic descent, based on the DNA.
Oh, okay.
And they believe that whoever it was would develop a strong interest in the case and would almost become obsessive about it.
Yeah, but what are you basing that on? Just a hunch?
Well, no, they're profiling it because a lot of times murderers will become obsessive about the cases that, the murders they commit, and they love the media attention and the sensation around it.
I don't think people love the attention in media unless they're like repeat offenders.
Like a serial killer?
Yeah, if it's someone that just did it once, maybe they're just watching to hope they don't get caught, or like trying to see if they're close to catching him.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Chapel Hill PD kept sealing and resealing the records, and it made Faith's family, as well as everyone close to Faith, believe that they did this because there was a mistake that happened during the investigation, like I said earlier. The cops who showed up on scene roped off a 4-unit radius, but they didn't even knock on doors and ask to see inside of anyone's apartment. They didn't even ask. I mean, they didn't try to even say, hey, can I have a look in your apartment? We're looking for someone. They didn't ask any questions of any of the neighbors.
But they got the DNA. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
number one.
Yes, but aside from that, they didn't really search the apartment building. The apartment building also backed up to these woods. They didn't go out and search in the woods to see if anything or anyone was out there. They just kind of didn't look around, which is weird.
All right, a little lazy detective work.
In 2013, the SBI, the State Bureau of Investigations.
I never heard of them.
Yeah, so they're the state level Bureau of Investigations.
That's like the remix of the FBI. It's the SBI.
Well, yeah, they're the state instead of federal. They got involved in the case, and it seemed to move into, a more promising direction, and a proper investigation was taking place at that point. Finally, in July 2014, the court unsealed the case. And this is the first time that Faith's family were able to see the investigation. They couldn't before this, they couldn't even see the death certificate or the autopsy report. Like, they had no access to their daughter's investigation.
Wait, like, that's the basics of a case. I thought, like, they were denied access to, like, the details of pictures of whatever they took when they went and found the body and stuff like that.
Everything. They denied them access to everything.
Oh, my God. How do you keep your cool? But then, you can't go against the police because then you go to jail.
Yeah, this was 2.5 years. So in the case was a recording of a 911 call. Now, this brings up a lot of issues, okay? Because the person who is apparently talking to the 911 operator is Karina. At the end of the call, she was very reluctant to say her name. At the end when you make a 911 call, they ask for your name and phone number. Well, she was very reluctant to say her name, but finally she said, "This is Karina."
But what did she call 911 for? Because
to report the body.
Oh, I got it. So wait, so she discovered the body?
Yeah, her and Marisol. They walked in the bedroom. I told you.
Oh, that's right. And it was a horrific scene.
Yes.
I don't, whatever. I got lost somewhere, but I'm back on track.
So the person who made this 911 call says they're Karina at the end, but it does not sound like Karina at all. Like, it's not even her voice. It's a very different sounding voice than what Karina's real voice sounds like.
Maybe she was trying to disguise her voice? I don't know.
So a lot of people think that the person who actually called 911 was their friend Marisol, because the person in the 911 call has a really raspy voice. And Marisol
like Jadakiss.
Yeah, like Jadakiss. Has a really raspy voice. And she's done a lot of TV interviews, and her voice is very raspy.
Like she smokes cigarettes like the sisters from The Simpsons.
Not that raspy, Russ. Like just regular raspy.
Like the lady from the bar over here.
No, not that raspy.
She sounds like Mr. T.
I'll play her. You can look up her interviews. It's very easy to find. But she has like a raspy voice, and it sounds just like her in this phone call, but she says her name is Karina. Another thing that people notice is that there's no sounds in the background of the 911 call. So what a lot of people bring up is if they both came to the apartment together, right, Marisol and Karina, and they found the body, don't you think that if they just found their really good friend and roommate dead in this type of way, that someone would be crying or there would be some type of noise in the background from another person?
No, maybe they were they're not like us and they don't interrupt each other all the time, and she was letting her talk to 911 without interrupting. So I don't think that means anything.
Okay. Well, that's what some people say. Another thing that people notice is that on the phone call, Marisol or Karina, whoever made the call, says, "I walked in," instead of saying, "we walked in." People
always reaching, man.
Okay.
Because I'll say "I" if we just walked in. Like say me and you walk in, like, what you do? I just got here. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say we just. I could say we, mm-hmm. but whether I say "I" or "we" is irrelevant.
Well, you are going to be proved correct, because a neighbor later came forward and said that she saw both of the girls there right around the time that apparently Faith was discovered. Okay, so that whole entire theory of it just being one person that showed up ended up being proved wrong. But
people always get all bent out of shape over the weirdest little things that don't mean anything. And thank God you fools aren't in charge of prosecuting people. Because there'd be so many people in jail for being like, oh, they called 911, but they weren't crying hard enough. Oh, they were crying too much. Or like all these stupid things.
Yeah. So in 2015, a genetic company created an image of what the suspect might look like based on the DNA found at the scene.
Wow, that's some real DNA shop stuff there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So this man is Latin or Hispanic descent, has olive skin tone and black hair, which is incredibly vague.
Yeah, the way you said it's a Latin dude, he probably has. If you tell me someone's Spanish or Latin or whatever, I'm assuming olive skin with black hair.
I know, but at least they could at least narrow it down to that. They could at least narrow it down to that ethnicity.
Well, but they had the ethnicity already.
No, they didn't.
Oh, I thought they did.
The FBI profilers said that it was Hispanic, but they confirmed it by actually testing the DNA and creating this image. So then they started putting the image around for the public to see, so they could try to get, any leads.
You got to post that image.
Oh yeah, I have it. I'll post it. No new leads came in from that image.
I got to look at this image.
So then later, I'll have to show you later because it's going to be hard for you to find.
No, I'm a researcher.
Okay. So then in later that year, another bombshell was dropped. It was released that there was actually a note found near Faith's body.
Oh, shit.
Since the cops had the record sealed for so long, the family never knew about this. It had been 3 years before they started finding out this information and before they found out about this note. So this note was found next to the body. And the note said, quote, "I'm not stupid." Underneath that, it said, "bitch." And underneath that, it said, "jealous." Right? The note had 0 blood on it. So a lot of people believe that it was placed after she died because there was blood splatter everywhere in the room. And the note was placed probably after because it was completely clean. And it was written on a takeout bag, the bottom of a takeout bag for some fast food. It was like a white takeout bag, and they wrote it on there.
Was the bag from their house, did they say? Oh,
no, they
everything's
didn't
sealed.
say. Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
So the note, like people are trying to speculate, okay, what is this note about? A lot of people believe the note was placed after the murder, but who is the note for? Is it for Faith? Or is it a note for someone else? Because why, after you killed someone, why would you leave a note afterwards on the body unless the note was a message for maybe someone else other than the person who is dead? So they thought maybe the note was for Karina. Then another ball dropped in this case. And it was released that one of Faith's friends had actually received a 3-minute voicemail on her phone from a pocket dial that Faith made.
From Faith?
Yes, a butt dial.
Okay.
From Faith's phone. In this 3-minute voicemail, you can hear...
The night of the murder?
Yes.
Oh.
In this 3-minute voicemail, you can hear 2 female voices and 2 male voices. They had an expert come in and analyze the audio because since it's like a pocket dial, it's very fuzzy.
Yeah.
You can't really make out a lot of things. It's really hard to find it online, but I did find one video. I can't play it on here because it's so jumbled that it's not going to make any sense. But what does make sense is when you watch the video of the audio and you see the words that this audio expert determined that they are, like when they have, it's kind of like subtitled.
Yeah.
When you watch that, it makes sense. So I'm not going to play it on here, but I'll try to find it so I can post it.
Do you have any of what they said?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you now. So the expert analyzed that you can hear the names Rosie and the name Eric. You can hear another voice say Rosie numerous times. And like I said, Karina's nickname was Rosie. And then you can vaguely hear someone say, "I think she's dying."
Oh, shit.
Then a male voice says, "Do it anyway." Yeah.
It sounds
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was then discovered that the timestamp for this voicemail was 1:43 a.m. And that means the call was made from her pocket while she was apparently in the club. So then police immediately ruled this out. They were like, no, this had to be noise from the club. This had to be something else. They're mistaking this. This isn't the call from her death.
But was there music in the background? If there was no music, then she wasn't at a club.
There was no music in the background. But remember, there's camera footage of her at leaving the club.
So who had her phone?
So the interesting thing is that her service provider, which I don't know what it was, I don't know if it was AT&T, T-Mobile, whatever, her service provider had been having issues with timestamps around that same time.
Wow.
And they were known to be wrong. So her family and a number of people believe that this recording is the recording of her death. But authorities, like I said, have completely dismissed this theory. And they think it was a recording in the club. So here's another ball that dropped, okay? The guy that Karina spent the morning with, right? Remember, she left the apartment at 4 a.m, went to this dude's house. The guy that she spent the morning with claimed that she showed up to his house with a blood stain on her shirt.
Ooh.
But authorities have never released the results of that blood test. And when they are questioned about it, they kind of dance around the issue.
My question, what I'm starting to think now, does Karina have any family that works for the police or anything like that?
I don't know. The only thing I know about Karina at this point is she has not talked to the media at all. She has not cooperated with police very well.
You shouldn't. We all know this, though. And even
no,
and we all say if you're innocent,
cooperate with police, though.
We all say if you're innocent, you should talk. But anything you say can and will be used against you.
You're right.
They particularly use that phrase. So anything you say, they're just trying to find a way to find a conviction.
I mean, I believe that
she may have had something to do with it. They knew the person that killed her. It wasn't a random person.
Yeah, I do think she may have had something to do with it. It's really hard, though, because, I do think that when it comes... There has to be a balance. Like, you can't completely not talk, like we've seen from this Gabby Petito case. You can't completely not talk, but you also can't be vulnerable with an interrogation either.
It doesn't matter. They're going to try to twist your words, and then they'll ask you a question many different ways to see if you answer it a little different. And sometimes your memory is a little shoddy. Sometimes you're tired.
Yeah.
So they're just going to try to get you.
But, I mean, I see that. I just think that, I don't know, her not cooperating at all and not talking to media at all can be a little fishy, because other people that were friends with her, and in this case, did talk to media, like Marisol. Marisol found her body, and she spoke to media, and she talked to the cops. She was very open with everybody, and no one thought she did it. And she was at the scene when the body was discovered.
After all these wrongful conviction cases, I might play it the way she did.
Yeah.
Because you could end up in jail for something you didn't do.
It's hard. It is scary. You don't know, like, what angle they're coming at.
And you want to help.
Yeah. Like, you don't know the angle. And I think a lot of times there are so many police who just really want to solve the cases and do good for these families. But I think that sometimes they just get set on an idea, like we've talked about in the past. And if you're the idea that they get set on, you have to be really careful. And
they'll just wait for you to slip up somehow so they could put it on you. And it could be something that has nothing to do with the case.
But at the end of the day, I don't know. I find it strange that she is completely shut down. But there are a few other things that I find strange. And one of them is that Eric, the one that threatened to kill Faith in the past, really started inserting himself into the case. He did multiple interviews with media. He spoke super highly of her in the media, which is really weird. He went on TV and said she was a wonderful person. She was a great girl. I liked her so much. She was such a good friend. And like everyone was like, dude, you threatened to kill this girl. She had an order of protection against you. Like, you were crazy.
Well, normally whoever you have an order of protection against would normally be the first suspect. And maybe he was saying all this because he didn't want them pointing the finger at him. I'm sure
he was.
So it's self-preservation.
But it's still crazy to me.
It's crazy. All this is crazy. We're a true crime podcast. Everything's crazy.
True. So her roommate refuses to talk, refuses to do interviews. And maybe it's because she's traumatized. Like, that's another thing. Maybe it's because she's completely traumatized by what she found.
That's a very fair point. I think it's very unfair that we always say, I would have did this, I would have did that, or they should have did this.
Well, you did that earlier with the dad from Gabby Petito's case.
No, I didn't say what he should have done. I'm saying what I would have done. But someone's going to go back and rewind this and see if that's what I really said, because sometimes I forget what I said last 5 minutes ago. So don't wrong me. I'm tired of that nonsense. Or do. It's kind of funny, really. But yeah, it's so hard. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
It's hard to say what someone should do. You shouldn't say that. I get
Yes, because you don't know if she's suffering, or maybe not. Maybe she's out there partying. Who knows?
We don't know.
But you don't know.
The authorities obtained DNA from 750 people surrounding this case. But some of the most suspicious people have refused to give DNA and lawyered up.
I don't know if I'd give DNA. Before, when I thought it was 100%, I would have gave it. But when touch DNA is like a little suspicious, and they could kind of...
No, but if it's semen, you could give it and it wouldn't be you. I mean...
But they don't need to get semen from you, do they?
No, they need to get... They do a mouth swab.
That'd be a lot of work, 700 dudes.
God. They do a mouth swab.
Oh, so I was thinking, wait a minute, how do they get that?
They don't need your actual semen.
You don't... I guess that was pretty dumb.
Okay, so now the update. Are you ready? It's like Unsolved Mysteries. Remember Unsolved Mysteries? You wait all the way to the end of the episode, and then they go, update. And you're like, yes.
Wait, didn't we go to Unsolved Mystery premiere or something?
That was Forensic Files, but it's all right.
One day
you'll figure this true crime shit out.
Every show is the same. That's what it is. It's some dude with like a creepy voice, and then, they have cut scenes, and then the person, like... always has big hair. Their hairdo never changed from the 80s. They got stuck in that time.
There is nothing like Unsolved Mysteries, especially the old one with Robert Slack.
I liked America's Most Wanted. Probably because that's the only one I watched.
So now, the update. 9 years and 9 days after this horrific crime, an arrest was made. Just last week, a man by the name of Miguel Enrique Salguero Olivares was arrested for drunk driving. While in custody, they took DNA samples from him, and it showed to be a match from the crime scene.
Wow.
He was charged with first-degree murder. And that's all we know right now.
So we don't know
we don't know who he was to her.
If he knew them?
We don't know anything. Cops have not released the motive or any information with regards to the relationship between Miguel and Faith. According to Miguel and his family, however, he claims he is totally innocent of this, and he doesn't even know who this girl is.
Where was he living at the time of this case? I'm curious.
Durham, North Carolina. I don't know where that is in relation to Chapel Hill. I have to look it up because I don't really know much about
Well, if you're in the same state and you have a driver's license, I'm assuming you could make it there.
Yeah, he lived in North Carolina. That's where he's from. Now, he does match some aspects of the profile created by the FBI. He is an Hispanic male. He's now 28 years old. So at the time of the crime, he would have been 19, which is the same age as this group of people. She was 19. We don't know, however, like I said, the nature of their relationship until they release more info to the public. We just have to wait and see how this pans out.
And when did they find this out?
Last week.
Oh.
Yeah. This all happened at the same time that the Gabby Petito case happened and the Murdoch case happened and the Maura Murray remains were being tested. All of this happened in the same week. And so I wanted to tell this case because this is another huge true crime, recent news update.
Why are these police so secretive? What the hell?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know why this department is being so secretive, but...
I bet you can't ask them because they don't say shit.
Yeah, they're not answering.
Hey, at the end, why were you guys so secretive? Maybe they'll say, well, whatever we did worked because we found the guy. Maybe. So mind your business. We have our own way of doing this.
Maybe.
And if they got the guy, then everyone needs to shut the hell up, probably, because they got the guy.
It's true.
They did their job.
It is true. I mean, it's been 9 years and 9 days. Her mom just burst out into tears, but she said that they were tears of happiness because it's finally closure to her. But like I said, he's saying that he didn't even know her.
I don't care about that.
And he's innocent. So I don't know.
I have to see the DNA results personally, and I will bring them to the DNA shop, and we'll make sure they line up so there's no fishy business.
Well, I'm going to post a picture of Miguel and the composite sketch side by side so you can see, that it does look similar. I mean, he's Hispanic, he has olive skin, and he has dark hair.
We knew every Spanish person looks like that.
I know, I'm just saying. So yeah, we have to wait and see how this pans out. So even though this isn't totally unsolved, it's almost solved. We don't know the details. So you can't get complete closure, but it's like kind of closed. The door's cracked open right now.
I guess we got a lot of these kind of open cases going on right now. By the time this episode comes out, because we're recording this about a week and a half early because I'm going to be gone for work a little bit. Mm-hmm. But there might be some new details on all three of these recent cases we've done. I feel like we're the eyewitness news reporters.
I know, right?
Yeah, we used to be the historians.
True. We've been I'm trying so hard to be good on the social media when it comes to replying to all your messages. I love you guys so much. You're sending me so many messages and so many links and so many things. And I'm trying so hard to keep up. The other day I was working in the ER and I'm running to a patient, doing things, coming back to my phone, checking my phone, running back to a patient, checking my phone. I was trying so hard to be on top of it, but I was so busy in the ER that
guys, you're going to make Jess kill someone.
No, I'm not.
She keeps running away from her patients.
No, I would never. Stop. But anyway, my point is that I'm trying hard to keep up with all this. So I hope you guys, have a good week, and we will talk to you guys soon. And any updates that you hear on any of these cases, just send links my way and I will post them.
And you already know all the details. Check us out at Wife of Crime Pod on Instagram. And we got a bunch of other places too, right, Jess?
Wife of Crime, the Crime Family on Facebook. Patreon.com/wifeofcrimepod, and just wifeofcrime.com.
And we got merch. Go get a t-shirt or something. Get a cup. It's a mug.
But we're revamping our merch.
Oh, yeah.
So you might want to wait.
No, because then this will be the retro merch.
True.
That you can't get no more. It'll be vintage.
It will be the vintage, original, OG merch. So if you're an OG listener, you might want to get in with this merch. But new merch will be coming out. Hopefully, we're looking at around Halloween-ish time. And we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited about it.
And share the podcast and tell your mom.
Yes. And thank you guys so much for listening, really. And I hope you guys have a good one.